There were so many things that I loved about being at TIP, and it's almost hard to pick one particular moment.
Ultimate frisbee. No.
I played a lot of ultimate in the quad at Davidson.
People of a certain age who were in the program at the time, like, we will all relate to ultimate frisbee.
I used to count down the hours, starting with the last day of the previous summer, and would mark in thousands, like 8,000 hours to go, 7,000 hours to go. I was pretty crazy about it.
I remember a field trip to the Moorhead Planetarium when I was taking the astronomy class.
I took number theory, which was a fun course because it's not at all like anything I would have ever done in high school.
The hanging out in between time, like the classes were great and I really enjoyed them, but it was this sort of hanging out on the hall, chatting, having conversations that kind of went to whatever direction.
There's a student in front of me, and I think it was my Algebra 2 class, where he, in the middle of class, started reciting pi, and he would not stop until he got to the 50th digit. It was sort of random in the middle of the class. I'm like, wow, that's impressive, but why is he doing it right now? So I just sort of sat behind him in awe and confusion.
I was very awkward, very uncomfortable in my own skin, very self-conscious about being the smart kid in my home school.
There's this weird dichotomy where you're trying to create a personality for yourself or an identity, but you don't want to stand out too much and have an identity. So everybody's trying to balance that in their own ways.
I guess I tell myself to chill out. I kept a journal from the end of 8th grade through the birth of our first child, so about 12 years, and I had the pleasure and terror of reading parts of it recently, and I was just so hyped up about everything. And did that boy call? What did it mean? What does it mean to the boy? I mean, way too much about boys. But just in general, like, this teacher said that, does that mean this? Da, 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 and just calm down, it's gonna be okay.
The advice I would have given myself is just relax. There's nothing you do as a middle schooler that's going to ruin your life. There are a lot of things that you can do to make it better, and relaxing would be one.
When you're at that age, and it seems like you have to work really hard and strive really hard to go on that career path, and there's not a lot of room for detours. There actually is quite a lot of room, and you're really only doing a disservice to yourself if you don't actually take advantage of those opportunities.
The traditional school system is really good at creating a tribe for people who are good at football, and people who are good at basketball, people who are good at running. Like, they have a team, they have outfit, they have tribal uniforms, they have rituals, they have cheerleaders, they have, banners in the gym, and there are academic teams, but it isn't the same kind of thing. And I think having that and knowing that that exists, even if you don't have that whole tribe back at home, but that it's out there, and that when you just get to college or graduate school, then that can be your world, just gives one sort of something to be able to hold on to.
That opportunity to be surrounded by like-minded peers, very talented individuals, right? Talent identification program, so you're
It's the really deep dive focus on one, body of knowledge with a group of people working closely in an intense period of time that isn't the way school is.
You're in social studies, and here now learn the counties of Florida. You go to TIP, and you have 3-week exposure to a topic that you wouldn't otherwise get exposed to, with folks who are just as intellectually curious as you are.
But we need tribes. We should be nice to the other tribes, but we need our tribes.
Buying a house in Los Angeles.
Anyway, my whole career. So let me explain what I mean by that. So,
I think probably having my first kid the 4th year of med school.
I'd always liked the idea of doing laboratory research, but it's challenging to be a principal investigator or to run your own laboratory.
It makes it harder in some ways, but it also makes one more focused and can be and obviously is the amazingness of having children who are mostly inspiring and sometimes really aggravating, but in a good way.
And the success rate on those things is relatively low, and so you get used to failure, and it's a daunting path to go down.
Yeah, I think if you make a decision that you're confident and passionate about, I haven't felt like it was a risky decision, because it was something that I was going to enjoy and I was going to love.
I kind of came to this decision, you know what, I'm just going to do it. And I didn't think too hard about it, which is probably a good thing, because if I had thought more systematically about it, I probably would have been scared off by thinking about like all the challenges that would come with the career. And I said, you know what? I'm just gonna do it.
Anything Monty Python. Monty Python's Flying Circus.
I'm gonna frame it as like the Star Wars trilogy, right? There's like the early phase, which is, you know, relatively optimistic and triumphant and so forth.
Interstellar, and then you hit a kind of middle phase where things don't go so well and you run into adversity, academic adversity for the first time, and you realize, wow, it's not really possible to be really great at everything. It's maybe not even possible to be really great at one thing. Pi, it kind of popped in my head oddly. My GPA when I was applying to colleges was pi to 6 digits, which isn't very good for a lot of people applying to college.
Then you come to that final phase, which I guess I'm still sort of working through now. Or maybe I'm kind of in between the second and third phase where, you know, you're victorious again. At least by the end of it, one hopes.
I can't do the movie titles. I plead the fifth.